Yo, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Jayok here, and here is your favorite part of the video where I tell you the clips I recorded are gone. Always happens, you love to see it. So, instead of getting highlights from a certain amount of games that I had, we get the whole box scores of every game in the playoffs, every playoff series in round one. We're going to do better for round two, I promise you. But luckily enough, most of the games in the first round were like blowout games and like games that weren't really close because like I said in the playoff preview video, the way that we're doing it is just going over, I'm simcast live every game and hopping into the games. I said the fourth quarter, but I changed my mind and hopped in if it was close with like 2 or 4 minutes to go in the game, just depending on the outcome. And yeah, I only had like, of all the first round games, I think I only jumped into like 6, and I accidentally somehow deleted them. I don't know, don't ask. But so for this video, we're getting nothing but going over the box scores. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Well, as I did say in the pre-recording of this, the clips got deleted for a bunch of these games that I actually did get to hop into. So going over box scores of every playoff series. Let's go. Woo, yeah. Game 1. The 8-seeded Arizona Blaze went on the road and got a 7-point win in New York. Giannis led the way 22-10 and then didn't get much help. Bogdanovich 3 of 11. OG and Anunoby shot 2 of 12. Elfrid Payton 1 of 9. Just not good numbers. Giannis even fouled out in this one. For Arizona, they were led by Patty Mills, 16 points. DiVincenzo had 15. Gordon Hayward, 14. They didn't shoot the ball incredibly well. Rodney Hood off the bench with 12 points helping the cause. Just a good old Game 1 victory for Arizona. Game 2, New York takes back this, evens up the series at 1 apiece with a 7-point win, 70-63. Giannis leading the way again, 22-16. Moses Moody had 12 points. OG Anunoby bounced back. He had 12 points. Derek Favors 9 and 8. Just good performance by the whole team in this one. For Arizona, they are led by DiVincenzo, 16, the only person in double figures for them. Gordon Hayward, 1 of 11 shooting. He struggled, and that really hurt Arizona in Game 2. As the series shifts to Arizona for Game 3, and Arizona gets blown out on their home court by 25 points, 86-61, as New York takes a 2-1 series lead right here. DiVincenzo again leading the way. He had 22 points. Patty Mills had 18, and then after that, just falls off. Gordon Hayward again, 1 of 10 shooting. Not a good performance for him in this one. Giannis dropped a 40 bomb, 43-10, to get New York the 2-1 series lead. Jared Allen 8-14. 40 bomb, that's all you need to know about this game. Game 4, another blowout victory, 92-60. New York takes a 3-1 series lead. This Jalen Harris, 16 minutes off the bench. He led the way with 13. Steven Adams 11-13. There's DiVincenzo 3 of 11. Gordon Hayward didn't even make a single field goal. Not good for them. Giannis had help in this one. Moses Moody, the rookie. Look at that, 25 points for him to help Giannis's 29 as they go up 3-1 in this series. And New York finishes the series off at home with a 73-70 victory to win this series in 5 games. Moses Moody leading the way, 16 points. Giannis had 16-16. Bogdanovich with 14. They help out. For Arizona, it was DiVincenzo leading the way with 15. Georges Niang had 13 points. Patty Mills 12 points. And look at Gordon Hayward again. He just struggled in the playoffs. Only averaged 7 points on 16% from the field. 18% from the 3-point line. tough struggle for Gordon Hayward in this series, as Arizona's season will end right here. New York will be taking on the winner of the Pittsburgh, Indiana 4-5 matchup. So we'll get into that box score. But now we'll move on to the 2-7 matchup in the East. Alright, we will continue with the Eastern Conference first round with the 2-7 matchup. The Dragons versus the Rebels, Toronto, Cleveland. And in game 1, Cleveland put their foot on Toronto's neck. A 20-point road win for the Rebels. The 7 seed putting a statement out that they're not here to just mess around in the playoffs. They're here to do business. A 20-point win for the Rebels. Steph Curry led the way for the Dragons with 13. He struggled from the floor. James Wiseman 12 and 14. He hooped out. Terrence Davis had 10 points, the only ones in double figures. Who is this? We got David Duke. 9 minutes, 9 points. Good game for him. Chris Middleton struggled. Well, he didn't really even shoot the ball. He needs to shoot the ball. Lou Will didn't make a single field goal for the Dragons. Jimmy Butler put on the show in game 1, leading the way with 31 points. Ben Simmons helped him out with 14. Gary Trent had 10 points to help out. Arturo 8 and 8. Dennis Schroeder struggled but had 8 points. Just a really impressive game 1 victory for the Rebels. In game 2. Back-to-back with an 85-79 win. The 7 seed has a 2-0 series lead against the 2 seed. Steph Curry led the way, 26 for the Dragons. Lou Will had 17, a bounce-back performance for him with 17 off the bench. Chris Middleton, 12 points, still needs to shoot more in order to help Toronto get this series. We'll get back into the series now. Terrence Davis struggled from the floor, 2 of 11. There's that Duke kid, 107. Jimmy Butler again leading the way, 28 points in game 2 for the Rebels. Ben Simmons had 14. Schroeder struggled from the floor again but had 9 points. Gary Trent struggled from the floor. Look at Gobert, 20 rebounds. Really good game for him in game 2. We head to game 3 now, and Toronto gets a 9-point victory over the Rebels, 79-70. Ben Simmons, 19 points leading the way. Jimmy Butler, 4 of 15, struggles. And just, yeah, it hurt Cleveland in this one. Gobert again, 17 rebounds. Tough game for him. Steph Curry, 28 points leading the way. He had Middleton help him with 13. Again, Middleton needs to shoot more, I think. I think that's what needs to happen. Terrence Davis had 12 points. Lou Will struggled from the floor but had 8 points. Lou Will's been struggling in the playoffs. It's rough to see. We get to game 4 now, and Toronto ties the series back up at 2 apiece with an 80-68 road victory. Jimmy Butler, 20 points leading the way. Had Ben Simmons with 17. Simmons is hooping in the playoffs, not gonna lie. He's doing his thing. Schroeder struggled from the floor, had 9 points. Is that Miles Bridges? That is Miles Bridges with 8 points. Good game for him. Gobert fouled out. Only had 10 rebounds, so that's tough. And then Toronto, I mean, they didn't really have a big-time performer. Terrence Davis had 14. Steph had 13. Lou Will, 12. Yvonne Rabb had 8 and 11. James Wiseman, 8 and 9. Middleton struggled from the floor. It's just, he needs to shoot better if Toronto's going to win this series, if you can't tell. It's a 2-2 series. Game 5, back in Toronto, and Cleveland wins 77-63. So the Rebels put Toronto in a hole. One more wins eliminates them. Had Yvonne Rabb lead the way with 11 points. Steph, he didn't shoot enough. He only had 10 points. Chris Middleton didn't shoot enough, 9 points. Their leading shooters were Lou Will and Terrence Davis, and they both struggled. That's 7 of 29 combined for both of them. Just not good for Toronto. Jimmy Butler led the way with 20 points. Look at Dennis Schroeder, 17 points. Ben Simmons had 10 points. Gary Trent had 10 points. Gobert, 14 rebounds. So that brings us to Game 6 in Cleveland. The Rebels could close this one out, but Toronto will force a Game 7 with a 71-64 victory. They tried to blow it in the fourth quarter, 25-14 fourth quarter advantage for the Rebels, but that third quarter is what hurt them in the end. Jimmy leading the way with 13. Miles Bridges had 13. Ben Simmons with 10. Gary Trent with 10 also. Rudy Gobert 8 and 9 with 5 blocks. Really good game for Gobert. Chris Middleton showed up in game 6. 24 points to lead the way. Steph Curry didn't shoot the ball that well. He had 15. Terrence Davis still struggled. James Wiseman struggled, but he had 13 big-time rebounds. Lou Will's been struggling all playoffs. So that brings us to the decisive Game 7. And the winner of Game 7 to move on to Round 2 is... yes, the Cleveland Rebels, the 7 seed, upset the 2-seeded Toronto Dragons with a 93-62 Game 7 victory. James Wiseman, 13 and 11 to lead the way for Toronto. Chris Middleton with 11. Steph Curry struggled, didn't shoot the ball that much, had 7 points. Yvonne Rabb, 7 and 8. Lou Will struggled again, 7 points. Dennis Schroeder closing out. They almost had 3 players with 20 points. That's wild. Dennis Schroeder, 25. Jimmy Butler at 21. Ben Simmons with 18. Rudy Gobert, 10 and 6. Just Toronto played a very beautiful team game in Game 7 to finish off this series. So the Cleveland Rebels, the 7 seed, upset the 2 seed to move on to Round 2, where they'll take on either the 3-6 winner of Mississippi and Cincinnati, right? I just had a whole brain fart. My bad. But talking about that series, let's go over that box score. I was correct. Cincinnati was the 3 seed. I don't know how I had a brain fart right there in that last clip. But Cincinnati, Mississippi, the 6 seed, trying to keep the momentum from last year's playoffs where both 6 seeds made it out the first round, and a 27-point road win is what's going to keep the statement alive. Mississippi, 87-60 winners. D'Lo leading the way with 16 points for the Gladiators. He struggled from the floor. Josh Hart, 9 points. He struggled from the floor. Zach LaVine just didn't even shoot the ball that much. He needs to shoot the ball if they're going to win this series, in my opinion. Kawhi. He stepped up in game 1. 41 bomb. Oh yeah, that's a way to put a statement on this series. Sadiq Bey? Oh my god. He had 10 points off the bench. Julius Randle, 9 and 9. AO had 2 and 10, so that's the only struggle we had right there for Mississippi. But a 27-point road win because Kawhi dropped 41 is going to win you game 1. Game 2, same thing. Mississippi, a 79-61 victory, and you see what won them that game, the second and third quarters for Mississippi, outscoring them by double figures in both quarters. Yeah, that's gonna win you a game. It's gonna win you a game when you outscore them by 23 in 2 quarters right there. D'Lo, 15 points leading the way. He struggled from the floor. Jerome Robinson, 4 and 10. Zach LaVine, still not. He just needs to score if they're gonna hope to win this series, honestly. Kawhi went back down to earth a little bit, 18 points. Marquise Chris had 15 and 11. Julius Randle with 10. Duncan Robinson with 9 points. Just look at all these players with 7+ points compared to 3 players with almost double figures for Cincinnati. No wonder Mississippi won this game. So the 6-seeded Mastodons are up 2-0 as the series heads to Mississippi now. In game 3, Cincinnati makes a statement saying we're still not out of it yet. 76-68 road win for the 3-seeded Gladiators, and Kawhi led the way with 20 points. Sadiq Bey had 13, and then Killian Hayes 4-17. That's just, yeah, that's rough. Julius Randle 1 of 6. Yeah, you see where it's rough for that team. D'Lo got in his bag in this one. He had 28 points. Josh Hart had 10 points to help out. Where is Zach LaVine is just not scoring. That's scary. Bam had 6, 12, and 6. Good game for Bam. Yeah, they need Zach LaVine. He needs to show up and start scoring if they're gonna win this series. Game 4, Cincinnati another road win by 15 to even up this series. Julius Randle leading the way, 21 points for the Mastodons. He had Kawhi with 15, Duncan Robinson had 11, Killian Hayes 9 points. He's still not shooting the ball too well. Marquise Chris 6 of 10, well 6 and 10, my bad, in this one. Gladiators led by D'Lo again, 23 points. There's Zach LaVine showing up, 17 points. Josh Hart had 9-6. We had Marquise. Is that Marquise or Marcus? Marcus Morris with 9. Jerome Robinson with 9. Bam, 8-10. Like, yeah. Big time team effort W in game 4. Game 5. Mississippi takes back the series lead 3-2 with a 94-61 road victory. Outscored them every quarter. D'Lo's 16 to lead the way, and then Zach LaVine back down there 3 points. Wow. Josh Hart 3 of 12. Not good. Not good. Julius Randle had 33 to lead the Mastodons. Kawhi had 28 to help them. Yeah, just them two alone just... Yeah, that's enough. That's definitely enough. They just scored the same amount of points as Cincinnati did by themselves. Yeah, that's going to win you a game. Alright. Alright, they got it. Game 6 in Mississippi. Mastodons with a shot to finish up the series. And they do not. Cincinnati forces Game 7 back home with a 74-63 victory. Kawhi 17 leading the way. Killian Hayes, again, not shooting the ball too well, had 14. Julius Randle 14. Marquise Chris had 7 and 11. For the Gladiators, D'Lo was in his bag, 25 points to lead the way. Zach LaVine struggles from the floor, but had 9, 6, and 4. Bam, 9 and 9. So this forces a Game 7. Can Mississippi, for the second straight year, see the 6th seed win the series? Yes, they do. A 91-66 blowout victory for the 6th-seeded Mississippi Mastodons to move on to round 2 to take on the 7th-seeded Cleveland Rebels. So we're going to have a 6-7 matchup in the Eastern Conference semis. That's crazy. D'Lo, 17 points leading the way for the Gladiators. Zach LaVine struggles from the floor, drops 16. Just, yeah. See what? Oh, they had 4 players in double figures. Kawhi 29, Killian Hayes 18, Marquise Chris 15 and 12, Julius Randle 12 and 8. Like, yeah, when you're gonna have 4 players in double figures compared to 2, you're gonna win this game. So, congrats to Mississippi moving on to the second round where they'll take on the 7th-seeded Cleveland Rebels. Should be a fun series. Can't wait to preview all our second round series. So, that brings us to our last playoff series in the first round for the Eastern Conference, which is the 4-seeded Indiana Roosters and the 5-seeded Pittsburgh Union. So let's get into it. Alright, here we go. 4-5 matchup out east. The 4-5 matchup is always a fun series to watch. And starting it out here, Pittsburgh with the playoff experience that Indiana doesn't have, and it showed with a 63-55 victory for the Union in Game 1. Jokic led the way, 21 and 17 for the Roosters. Dragic had 14, and then after that, it just fell apart where Karis LeVert only had 9 points, didn't really shoot the ball well. You got Markkanen down here, 0 of 7. That's just not going to win you a playoff game. Kobe White leading the way, 14 points for the Union. You had Gilgeous-Alexander, he had 12. Aaron Naismith had 10 points. Jaren Jackson, 8 points. My boy JD with 8 points, 17 rebounds in his playoff debut. So good game for him and the Union in Game 1. Game 2, same story for Pittsburgh as they go up 2-0 with a 77-71 victory. Dragic, 17 points leading the way. Jokic with 11 and 16. Justice Winslow, 7 and 5. JJ Redick with 7. Both of them off the bench. Markkanen not shooting the ball well, 6 and 6 though. For the Union, it was Gilgeous-Alexander leading the way with 28 points. You had Kobe White with 17, Terry Rozier with 13, JD 8 and 6 and 4. Really good start to the series for Pittsburgh, up 2-0. Game 3 shifts the series to Pittsburgh, and the Union go up 3-0 in this series, a 71-62 victory, 1 win away from a sweep. Kobe White and Gilgeous-Alexander both dropped 16 in this one. JD 8 and 10, Jaren Jackson 6 and 12. Just really good team win again by Pittsburgh. Jokic all by himself, 29 and 20 in this one. Didn't get the help he needed. LeVert, 3 of 12 shooting, just not going to help out that well. Markkanen's just been a dud this playoff. So that brings us to Game 4. Pittsburgh can finish out sweep, and they do a 77-70 victory to move on to round 2 for a rematch with New York. As you remember, Pittsburgh played New York last year in the first round of the playoffs, and New York sent them home in a sweep. So Pittsburgh looking for their revenge this year. Kobe White, Terry Rozier, each with 18 to lead the way. Gilgeous Alexander had 14. Jaren Jackson 9 points. JD 4 and 8. Just really good team win in this series for the Union, the 5 seed, taking down the 4 seeded Roosters. And Jokic 16 and 16 leading the way. He did great in the playoffs, basically by himself. Markkanen showed up in Game 4 with 13 points. If he showed up earlier in the series, maybe we have a different outcome right now, but can't complain. Levert 3 of 10, 9 points. Dragic 3 of 7, 7 points. Just tough series for Indiana. So the Eastern Conference semis are set. We'll have the 1 seed New York Eclipse take on the 5 seeded Pittsburgh Union, and we'll have the 6 seeded Mississippi Mastodons take on the 7 seeded Cleveland Rebels. So we will preview that towards the end of this video. Now let's go over the box scores of the first round out west. Alright guys, starting it out now up top in the west with the 1-8 matchup. The defending Western Conference champion St. Louis Rivermen taking on the Alaska Explorers. And the 8 seed make a statement in game 1 with a 91-74 road victory. Alaska in their first playoff game get the 17-point road win. Otto Porter led the way for St. Louis with 16 points. Lonzo plays for another team. LaMelo had 15. Didn't really shoot the ball well. Cole Anthony had 12 on poor shooting numbers. Zion 4 points. He fouled out in 15 minutes of play. Just not good for St. Louis in game 1, with DeAndre Ayton leading the way 24 and 14 for Alaska. Jamal Murray had 18. Buddy Hield 18 also. Scotty Barnes with 12 points. 4 players in double figures for Alaska. That's going to help you win a game, especially when 3 of them almost scored 20. So good game 1 victory for Alaska. In game 2, it goes Alaska's way also, 81-74. The Explorers, a 2-0 series lead on the number 1 seeded Rivermen. LaMelo 17 points leading the way. Cole Anthony with 14 to help out. Zion 6 and 9, just hasn't shown up in the series so far. Needs to turn things around if they're going to win this series. Jamal Murray led the way, 28 points in this one for the Explorers. Buddy Hield had 18. So again, one almost with 30, one with almost 20. That's going to help you win the game like that. DeAndre Ayton, a near double-double. 13 rebounds, 9 assists, had 6 points to go with it. So the first 2 games going to Alaska. In game 3, St. Louis bounces back with a 20-point road victory, 78-58. Buddy Hield 11 points to lead the way for the Explorers. DeAndre Ayton 11 and 15. Jamal Murray struggled from the floor in this one. For the Rivermen, LaMelo 19 leading the way. There's Zion showing up finally, 16 and 12. Evan Fournier had 15. Cole Anthony with 10. Marvin Bagley almost a double-double, 8 and 11 to help the Rivermen get back in this series. So game 4 of the series is another St. Louis win, 78-65 to even up the series at 2 apiece. Thaddeus Young leading the way for Alaska, 13 and 10. Buddy Hield had 12 points. DeAndre Ayton 12 and 12. Jamal Murray only 8 points. This Preston kid, 2 minutes. Jason Preston. Oh wait, is he that one kid from Ohio that hooped out in the tournament? I think so. 2 minutes of action, got 8 points. That's crazy. Zion, 20 points leading the way for St. Louis. Fournier with 16. Otto Porter with 13. Cole Anthony with 10. LaMelo 7, 4, and 8. Bagley didn't score. So series is evened up, heading back to St. Louis. And the Explorers have a 3-2 series lead with a 66-56 victory. As Alaska is now up 3-2 going home into Game 6 for a chance to upset the top seed. Zion leading the way with 13 points for the Rivermen. Evan Fournier had 12. LaMelo shot bad. Cole Anthony shot bad. Otto Porter shot meep. Both teams kind of shot poorly. Just more double-figure scoring for Alaska, as you see here. Jamal 16. Thaddeus Young at 11. Jonathan Isaac with 10 points. DeAndre Ayton didn't really score, but 17 rebounds. That's always going to help you out. So game 6, Alaska looking to eliminate the top seed. St. Louis looking to force 7. And the Explorers pull off the upset, the first 8 seed to take down a top seed in our league history. A 83-71 victory. And Alaska sends the team with the best record in the league home early. Jamal Murray 21, Buddy Hield with 20. They combined for 41 to lead the way. Jonathan Isaac had 9, Kyra Lewis had 9, DeAndre 8 and 12 to lead the way for Alaska. LaMelo hooped out 24 points. Otto Porter had 13. Zion struggled from the floor. Just not how I envisioned this going. St. Louis, the number 1 seed, they had the best overall record in the regular season for anybody in the league, and now they're being sent home early. So the 8th seed Alaska Explorers move on to round 2. So let's get into the 2-7 matchup now. Alright, the 2-7 matchup features 2 teams making their playoff debuts, as the LA Knights, the 2 seed, take on the 7 seed Minneapolis Blizzard. And in game 1, the Knights win 70-63. Porzingis 15 points to lead the way for the Knights. DeJounte Murray had 11 points. DeRozan had 11 points. Sabonis 11 and 15. Aaron Holiday had 9 points. Like, really good team effort. Victory for the Knights in this one. For the Blizzard, Zay Phil leading the way, 16 points. Jalen Green had 14. After that, kind of fell off. Mike Conley only had 8 points. Yeah, they just need more scoring. Wendell Carter didn't score, but had 16 rebounds. I mean, that's good, but gotta do better if you're gonna keep up in this series. So game 2, LA wins again, 74-60 this time. DeJounte Murray 13 lead the way. Aaron Holloway had 13 also. We had DeRozan and Porzingis with 11. Jalen Green with 10. That's Josh Green, my bad. Look at that. They got 5 players in double figures. Minneapolis had Zay Phil with 23. And that was it. Wendell Carter had 8 and 12. Jalen Green's only 6 points. Kuminga shot bad. Devontae Graham shot bad. Yeah, they might be in trouble. Game 3, and the LA Knights go up 3-0 with an 88-63 victory. Zay Phil again, 15 points leading the way. Kuminga had 10 points. Wendell Carter had 8 and 12. Yeah, it's just not looking good for Minneapolis. DeRozan, 26 points leading the way for the Knights. DeJounte Murray had 14. Evan Mobley with 14. Porzingis 8 and 11. So the Knights, 1 win away from a 4-game sweep. And they complete the sweep with an 87-72 victory. Zay Phil, 16 points leading the way for the Blizzard again. Obi Toppin had 15. Jalen, is it Jalen McDaniels? Jaden McDaniels had 11 points. Devontae Graham, 8 points right there. Good season for Minneapolis. They just get sent home early. DeRozan, 22 to lead the way for the Knights in this closeout game. Sabonis had 15. Look at all these players with over 5 points. Like, man, LA's playing as a complete team so far. 4-game sweep in the first round. That moves them to round 2, where they'll take on the 3-6 winner. So let's get into that box scores now. Into the box scores for that series now. Alright, 3-6 features Idaho Irish and the Las Vegas Dealers. Las Vegas been here last year in the playoffs, got to the conference finals before losing to St. Louis. Game 1, a 99-58 road victory for the Dealers. Playoff experience showed up in that one, if you couldn't tell. Cade Cunningham, 18 points to lead the way for the Irish. Then after that, poor shooting numbers. Glenn Robinson, 8 points in 8 minutes. He was the second leading scorer. Karl Anthony Towns, 3 of 10. Yeah, not good. Kyrie, 4 players in double figures. Kyrie leading the way, 20 points. He got hurt in game 1 in the playoffs last year, so he's out for revenge this time. Or however Drake said. Terrell Terry in 14 minutes had 15 points. Zion Ademola. We're going to call you ZA just to make me feel better about not butchering your name. ZA, 12 points. Gallinari, 12 points. Look at all these players with over 5 points. So game 1 going to Las Vegas. Game 2, a closer game, but Las Vegas. Oh yeah, they traded blows. Big third quarter for Idaho. Even bigger fourth quarter for Las Vegas getting the win. Carl Anthony, I'd say Carl Anthony Towns. Wow, he's down here. Only 3 points. Fouled out. AD 22 and 8. Zaire Williams 15. Cade Cunningham 10 points on 4 of 17. Good God. We're gonna move. Yeah. Zion ZA 22 leading the way for Las Vegas. Kyrie had 17. Look at like everybody that played scored or had an impact. I mean, Whiteside didn't score, 7 rebounds though. That's nice. Like Las Vegas is looking like they're determined this year. Game 3. Las Vegas comes home and takes a 3-0 series lead. 74-65 ZA. 25 to lead the way for Dealers. Kyrie didn't really shoot the ball. Whiteside 8 and 11. Gallinari had 8 points also. Everybody that played scored again. Like that's crazy. AD 22 lead the way. Cunningham still struggling from the floor. Had 14. Zaire Williams had 12. Karl Anthony Towns is just not showing up in the playoffs. There, yeah. Idaho is down 3-0. Can they force Game 5, or is Vegas sweeping this series on their home court? And a 2-point victory for Las Vegas, 73-71 to wrap up this series. It was a 4-game sweep, just like their second round opponent, the Los Angeles Knights. So that's going to be a good series. I'm excited about that one. ZA 18 to lead the way for Las Vegas. Kyrie had 13, Gallinari 12, Capella 10 and 14 to lead the way. As almost everybody scored, Luke Kennard didn't score this time. For the Irish, Cade Cunningham 14 points leading the way. Still didn't shoot the ball well. Lonzo 13 points. AD 12 points. Zaire Williams 10 points. Karl Anthony Towns just didn't show up in this series. My God, he averaged 4 points in the playoffs. Oh my God, that's horrible. Good season for Idaho though in their first season in the league as an expansion team, getting the 3 seed. Just couldn't cut it out. So we'll have Las Vegas versus the LA Knights in round 2, and that brings us to our 4-5 matchup. Let's get into the box scores for that series. Alright, here we go. Our 4th and final playoff series out west. The final series that we're going over. The 4-seeded Los Angeles Palms and the 5-seeded Indianapolis Flames. And in game 1, the Flames win 88-77. LA, as you remember, 3 seed last year, got sent home early. So they're looking to get past round 1 this year. And they lose the first game by 11, but it's alright. Calm down. We're going to be good, LA. Tatum led the way with 15 points. Marcus Smart, 13. Mo Bamba, 13. Markelle had 10. Everybody that played scored. They just didn't get stops, as you could tell. John Wall. He had 21 to lead the way for the Flames. Anthony Edwards with 19. Trae Young, 14. Yeah, both teams played well. Indianapolis, as you can see, hit more shots, though, to win game 1. In game 2, the Flames go up 2-0 with a 71-52 road victory. Just dominated that second half to take a 2-0 series lead. Marcus Smart only had 11 points on 2 of 14 shooting, and he led the way. That's bad. Tatum had 11. Markelle not. Yeah, this is rough. Just very rough in this one for the Palms. Trae Young leading the way, 22 points for the Flames to help them get up 2-0. John Wall had 11. He struggled from the floor. Hit a bunch of free throws, though. Okafor, 8 points, 17 rebounds in this one. So the Flames go up 2-0 as the series heads east. We'll fix that. Don't worry. I keep saying that. We're going to make it happen, though. The Palms go on the road and win by 20, 88-68. John Wall leading the way, 16 points for the Flames. Trae Young, 16 points. Al Horford at 11 and 9. Where's Anthony Edwards? Ooh, he struggled. That's no bueno. Jason Tatum in his bag, 34 points to lead the way. Marcus Smart had 18. Andrew Wiggins had 13. I almost said Aaron. I know there's an Aaron Wiggins. Is he in college or is he? I think he's in college. Markelle had 7 and 9. Near double-double for him. But 34, yeah, that's going to help you guys get back in this series 2-1. Game 4, LA wins again, 81-78 to tie the series back at 2. Trae Young 14 to lead the way for the Flames. Anthony Edwards at 13. Michael Porter Jr. with 11. Bogdanovich with 10 to lead the way. John Wall had 9 points, didn't really do that well. Okafor 19 rebounds, good game for him. Tatum again in his bag, 30 points. Markelle Fultz had 18. Andrew Wiggins 10 points. Where's Smart at? Oh, 6 points only this time. So even up series, important game 5. And the Flames get beat by 14 in LA, 86-72. So the Palms have a 3-2 series lead. Wiggins, 17 points to lead the way for the Palms. Look at all these players with almost double figures right here. Fultz had 13. Draymond had 13. Wow. Marcus Smart with 11. Jason Tatum only had 10. Mo Bamba had 8. Danny had 7. Like, that's wild. Trae Young had 16 to lead the way for the Flames. 15 for John Wall. Only 9 points for Michael Porter Jr. So the Flames now have to go home and win on their home court to force a Game 7. LA could win on the road and move on to round 2. So in Game 6, the LA Palms win by 14 and will move on to round 2, where they will have home court advantage as a 4 seed taking on the 8 seeded Alaska Explorers. Indianapolis, Jahlil Okafor, 16 and 13 to lead the way. Michael Porter Jr. had 15. Trae Young had 14. My bad. I said 4. Yeah. These two, 4 of 23. 15 combined points between them. Markelle had 13 points to lead the way for the Palms in this closeout game. Jason Tatum had 16. Marcus Smart with 11. Andrew Wiggins 9. Mo Bamba almost had a double-double, 9 and 10. So that moves on them to round 2. As we now look at the playoff bracket, we will have out west the 4-seeded LA Palms take on the 8-seeded Alaska Explorers. The 2-seeded LA Knights taking on the 6-seeded Las Vegas Dealers. We could have an all-LA conference finals. That would be dope to see. Out east, we have the 1-seed defending champion New York Eclipse taking on the 5-seed Pittsburgh Union in a rematch from last year. And we have the 6-seeded Mississippi Mastodons taking on the 7-seeded Cleveland Rebels. Hope you guys are ready for that. We will go ahead and preview that to finish up this video. So let's preview the second round matchups. Yup. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and preview round 2 of our playoffs. And we'll start it out in the East. Represent East Coast. East Coast always goes first. New York Eclipse, the 1 seed, taking on the 5-seeded Pittsburgh Union. As you see right here, their stats popping up in a second. They split the season series 1 apiece. New York, both teams won on each other's road courts, with New York winning in Pittsburgh April 5th, 95-78. Pittsburgh won May 16th in New York, 98-90, in a good classic one right there. Looking at each other's stats so far throughout the playoffs. As you know, Pittsburgh got by in a sweep. New York got by in 5. New York averaging 79.4 points a game, only allowing 67.4 a game. And Giannis is leading the way at 26.4 points per game. For Pittsburgh, they're averaging 72 a game, 64.5 allowed. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leading the way with 17.5 points per game. And this is a rematch from last year. If you guys remember last year's playoffs, Pittsburgh took on New York in the opening round, and we're sending away in a classic little sweep. This time, I don't think it's going to be that. I am picking New York to win the series, but I think Pittsburgh is going to be able to take a couple games in this series, so I just feel like the presence of the young core that they have in Pittsburgh is going to keep up a little bit with Giannis and company. So I'm going to take the New York Eclipse to take down the Pittsburgh Union in 6 games. That's my prediction. Eclipse in 6. Alright, we'll stay in the East and finish it out with the other second round matchup featuring the number 6 seeded Mississippi Mastodons and the number 7 seed Cleveland Rebels. Both teams upsetting their first round opponents. Not surprising that the 6th seed moved on to the second round, as both 6 seeds moved on to this round last year. So it's not surprising that it happened again. For their season series, they split one apiece, each team winning on their home court. Mississippi winning January 3rd by a score of 82-70, while Cleveland won May 28th, 89-86. So 2 pretty good matchups in the regular season as you look at how they're doing so far in the playoffs right here. Their stats right here next to me. Mississippi averaging 78.9 points a game while only allowing 69 a game. Kawhi leading the way at 24 points a game. For Cleveland, they're averaging 78.1 points a game, 72 points allowed per game, and Jimmy Butler leading the way at 20.3 points per game. So both teams got by in 7 games, so both teams are not really rested for this series. They're ready to go. It's hard for me not to choose the 6th seed, because after what happened last year with the 6 seeds moving on the way they did, it's hard for me not to take Mississippi. This is going to be a good series to me. I think Kawhi and Jimmy are going to put on a show matched up against each other. I just feel like Mississippi's got more than Cleveland. So my prediction is this series is going 7, and I will be taking Mississippi over Cleveland in those 7 games. I feel like I said, Kawhi and Jimmy Butler are going to go at each other next in this series. So that's my prediction. I'm taking the Mississippi Mastadons in 7 games. Alright, we will move things out to the West now, and we'll start out up top on the top bracket. I know we could go by who's the higher seed left, but I'll just do it this way. We have the number 4 seed. I almost had a brain fart, guys. My bad. The number 4 seeded LA Palms will be taking on the number 8 seeded Alaska Explorers in this one. Alaska pulling the upset, becoming the first 8 seed to move on to round 2 in our custom league. Congrats to them still. For their season series, they both won each other's home courts. Alaska won on March 21st in LA by a score of 82-78, while LA won April 5th in Alaska by a score of 95-78. Wow. A blowout on the road for LA, but Alaska wins a close one on the road. Not bad. As you look at the playoff preview for this one, LA averaging 77.3 points per game while allowing 73.8. And Jason Tatum's leading the way at 19.3 points per game. For the Cinderella story Alaska Explorers, they're averaging 74 points a game while giving up 71.8. And Jamal Murray is leading the way at 16.5 points per game. This should be a real fun series. I think it's going to be fun to the point where Alaska is going to give LA problems in this one. I want to lean towards Alaska. I want to see the Cinderella story continue. But I just feel like Jason Tatum is going to show his Mamba mentality in this series and carry LA to the conference finals. I do think Alaska's going to take a couple games in this series. So I will take the LA Palms to win this series in 6 games. Should be a fun one, but like I said, I feel like Tatum is just going to hoop out and get them to the conference finals. So LA Palms in 6. But I would love to see the Cinderella story continue. We'll see what happens though. Our final playoff series for round 2 features the number 2 seeded LA Knights and the 6th seeded Las Vegas Dealers in this one. As you see the conference. Yeah, let's talk about the season matchups. I've been saying that first all day. So in this one, I lost it somehow on my screen, but I found it. There it is. Another split. So all 4 of these matchups were season splits. And in this one, both teams winning on each other's road court. LA winning December 28th in Las Vegas by a score of 96-79, while Las Vegas won March 31st in LA by a score of 86-58. So 2 blowouts on the road. That's pretty interesting. Their stats on the screen right here that I'm showing. We have LA averaging 79.7 points per game while only allowing 64.5 a game. DeRozan leading the way at 17.5 points per game. For Las Vegas, 79.5 points per game. They're allowing 65.2 points per game. And Zion Admola is currently leading the way at 19.3 points per game. Both teams got by in a sweep. Both teams are excited about moving on to round 2. LA's getting their first taste of round 2. Las Vegas was here last year. You kind of figure where this is going. I'm going to be taking the Las Vegas Dealers to move on to the conference finals. Kyrie is just so determined to get back there this year. I just feel like he's going to power this team to the conference finals and beyond. I really feel like this Las Vegas team is going to the finals this year. Kyrie's stoked, man. He wants it bad this year. So Las Vegas, they're going to win this series. I do think this is going to be a fun back and forth series, though. So I feel like Las Vegas can get by in 7 games. So I will be taking the Dealers in 7. So that's going to bring an end to this video. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Hope you guys are excited to see round 2. Hope you guys made your predictions for round 1. Let me know in the comments how many you got correct. And let me know in the comments your predictions for round 2. Like I said, I got the New York Eclipse over Pittsburgh in 6, Mississippi over Cleveland in 7, LA Palms over Alaska in 6, and Las Vegas over the LA Knights in 7. So let me know what you guys got below. Appreciate you guys for the love and support, and I will catch you guys on the next one.